for
There we go.
sure. I hope I think
We're
I'm
live.
well. Oh, we are alive. Perfect.
We're live now. All right, guys. So if you're joining us live, I'm pretty excited actually. So we have Jayden here. I don't want to butcher your last name, man.
That's
Like,
all good.
okay,
Jayden
cool.
is
So,
fine.
all right, cool. Hey, say it for us though.
Jayden Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Yeah.
Got it now. Okay, so yeah, so Jayden. Okay, so Jayden went from, and guys, you hear the story a lot, but you don't really hear the backstory from people that have done this. But he went from college dropout to making $10,000 a month at 19. Dude, that's
Woo.
just nasty, man. That's
Thanks,
just
buddy.
crazy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I'm super excited to hear the backstory, because behind every big success, there is a really exciting backstory. And if you guys are joining us live right now, put hashtag live in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments. That just kind of helps broaden the reach, so this way more people can see it. And Facebook thinks that we're having a good time here, brings the party over. But all right, man. So before we get into this, okay, so I gotta know, you wanted to be a pro soccer player before this digital marketing thing? Like, what?
Yeah, that was the dream for like most of my life. Like so many kids, right? You dream of playing, sports professionally or whatever. So basically for me, like I decided when I was like 9 or 10 years old that like this was what I wanted to do. I wanted to play soccer. This was my thing. I was gonna, train every day, eat properly. Like I was gonna do like whatever it took. You know what I mean? And what ended up happening is like I got to the age of 15, and what happened is I got a couple of concussions like back to back to back. I had three concussions within about a year and a half, and it was my fourth concussion overall. I had another one when I was younger, and basically what happened is like what happens with concussions is like the more that you get, the more susceptible you are to getting concussions again in the future. And I met with some doctors and things like that, and we kind of realized that probably wouldn't make sense, or it would be kind of potentially dangerous if I wanted to keep playing soccer and chasing this dream and playing professionally. And where that left me is it left me in a weird space. Like I was like, okay, I don't really know what I want to do. Like I set my whole life up around this, like around this dream, around this goal, and then it was gone, right? So I was like, okay, I don't really know what to do with this. And what I kind of decided there was, okay, like I know I'm interested in business. I'll just go to school for business, see how that goes, and then maybe I'll figure things out as I go. My goal was always to start a business, but I just didn't know what to do or how to do that. So yeah, man. What ended up happening is I went to school for about a year, and what I really realized is like there was like a real disconnect because I was starting to learn about online marketing. I was starting to like explore a little bit of this space. And I didn't see how what I was doing in school was related to everything that was going on in this online marketing space. Basically, what happened, long story short, is around July, about 2 years ago now, actually, I started an e-commerce store, basically like a drop shipping store through Aliexpress and Shopify, and I'm sure some people are familiar with that drop shipping model. But basically, I set that up, and within 3 days, we got our first sale, and that was like an indicator to me that was like, okay, this is possible. This making money online thing can actually happen. It wasn't just like some dream or some thing I saw people online doing. It was like an actual thing that I could achieve for myself. And that was a turning point for me, man. Honestly, like I kept running that store. I started another e-commerce store, and that store actually started doing really, really well. It was a drop shipping store through AliExpress, but what it made me realize is I can make an actual income from this. Like at one point, in our best month, we did 42,000 in sales in 1 month. So it was something that it was insane. And what I what I realized is like,
how old were you? How old were you when you did that?
I had just turned 19, so I was pretty young.
Yeah. Guys, I just want to give you so let's be clear with this, guys. So making $42,000 with an e-com store, not all of its profit, but that was 10,000 in profit roughly, right, from that.
Yeah, we had about 25% in profit. Yeah, it was about 10 or 11,000, so it was fantastic.
Oh my gosh, dude! I remember back when I was thought I was balling out at 20 years old, making my first salary $2,000 a month. job. The first time I saw 10 grand in a single month, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Get out the rollies, get out the ice, like put out the red carpet. We're coming.
Everything's popping off now.
Oh man, that's so crazy, dude. All right, sorry, keep going. So what happened after you started the e-com store?
Yeah, man, no worries. Well, I started that. I started getting traction, like, and what I realized is like this is working. You know, like this is like I just saw like this is how business is happening. This is how business is changing. Like things are shifting online. You can get started. You can start with like very lean. You don't have to have a ton of capital. And everything I was learning in school was like, oh, you know, you're gonna lose money for like 3 years. You need to be prepared to like have a bunch of capital when you start. I'm like, I started that drop shipping business with like maybe we only spent about 50 to $100 before we got our first sale, and it brought money back in. So what
That
you're
is
learning
awesome.
in school these days, it doesn't compare, and it's just not relevant if you want to start your own business. And that's why I decided, you know, school's not for me. This isn't a good fit, at least right now. Well, I haven't gone back, so probably not at all. But
Yeah.
That's what made me realize, like, you know, school isn't a good fit for this. I need to really take advantage of this opportunity because I saw it as an opportunity that wasn't going to be around forever.
Yeah, it's a broken system, man. It's funny because you see all these people selling courses, and everyone kind of like is like, why are they selling this for $1,000?
Mm-hmm.
But you'll go to college for like 60,000.
Yeah. Oh my God. Absolutely. That's the crazy thing is someone will spend $1,000 on a course and make 50, 60, even 100,000. But someone's totally okay spending 60,000 on school and not even worrying about like how it's gonna, you know, what ROI it's gonna bring them, right? What it's gonna get them. It's just, oh, that's what everyone does. I'll just do it too.
Okay, so the big question, because I know a lot of people are probably thinking this, because I know if I didn't know this stuff, I'd be thinking this because I used to think it. So when you started your e-com store, how long, like, what did you make in your first year? And the second part is, did you know how to do Facebook ads, or what ads did you do when you ran it?
Yeah, so the first thing I just want to talk about with the Aliexpress drop shipping type model is the longest I ran 2 different stores. The longest I ran a store, or I should say two successfully. I tried to start like 7 different stores, but most of them didn't work. That's also what happens is like you try things and they don't work and you move on and try something else. So basically I had 2 stores that worked, but because of the nature of AliExpress drop shipping, they only were kind of profitable for about 4 or 5 months before, you know, either we ran into issues with our ads, with our suppliers, with our customers. You know, it's a good business model if you want to dip your feet into online marketing and running a business, but it's not really the long-term business model that I would recommend. It's a good thing to, if you want to, like, let's say for example, you want to test a specific product, it's a good idea to drop ship that product and then either private label it or order a bunch in inventory and then ship it out from within the US. Because one of the things with, and this is going a little bit off topic, so I apologize, but one of the things with AliExpress drop shipping is, you know, your shipping times are going to be long. A lot of the time your supplier is going to mess up orders. And also you're going to have a lot of unhappy customers because they're used to getting things off Amazon where it comes in like 2-3 days, sometimes even that same day. They're not used to waiting 2 to 4 weeks for an order to come, which is typical with ordering through AliExpress through this business model. So what I realized is, and then just to answer for the first e-commerce store, we did about 11,000 in revenue over about 3 months. The second store, we did 79,000 in revenue over about 4.5 months. And basically, what I realized is, you know, it's a great business model to kind of get started and dip your feet in. But in terms of building that long-term business, is not the best route to go. And then to answer your second question, that's where I learned Facebook ads. So that's where I kind of realized, this Facebook thing is pretty cool. I can, you know, just keep increasing. I can just keep testing different ad sets. And if one of them works, I'll just spend more money on it and it will bring more money in. So that was the game I was playing. And, you know, that's where I learned pretty much most of what I know about Facebook ads. Until I stepped into the agency space, which was like a whole different beast.
Yeah, a whole different ball game. And guys, I hope everyone's hearing that. Like, you have to take action. You're going to fail a lot.
Yep.
But as long as you fail forward, you can make, I mean, obviously Jayden's explaining how much and how well you can do if you just fail forward and just try. You got to take action.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing is like you're never gonna get anything done if you don't take massive action. And you're gonna fail most of the time too. Like not everything you do is gonna work out. But that's where champions are made. You're not like champions aren't made by hitting a home run on your first at bat. It's made by all of those times you fall on your face, that you fall in the mud, and you pick yourself back up and you keep going. That's where champions are really made. And I'm saying this from my experience, not only in business but also in sport as well. With soccer, is where you're gonna get most of your benefits is by increasing areas that you're weak and increasing areas that aren't like that are difficult for you. By doing the difficult things, you become stronger and you become better.
Yep. So, okay. So you've done the e-commerce stuff. You did the drop shipping. You dealt with, so drop shipping. You have an agency now. Did you do anything else in between?
No, that's kind of where I transitioned over. So even when I was running that Shopify site, I knew that it wasn't going to be long term. And I realized like, okay, do I want to get deeper into the e-commerce space? Like, what do I like doing? What I really like doing was running the Facebook ads. So I'm like, I like running ads. I don't really like dealing with customers that much. I don't like dealing with suppliers that much or processing orders. I just want to focus on the marketing side of things because that's what I'm best at. And that's when I transitioned over to the agency model. And honestly, like for the first couple of months, I didn't have a lot of success. I tried, I did some free trials. I ran campaigns for some local businesses, and I got decent results, but not good enough for them to want to sign me. And also, it affected my confidence a little bit as well because I was like, okay, even though I had done so well in e-commerce, my mindset was still like, am I really good enough? Is this right? Like, am I just being an imposter here? And that kind of changed when I started working with someone who's now actually a good friend and business partner of mine, who works in the Amazon FBA space. He sells products on Amazon. And basically what happened is we set up a really effective Facebook campaign for him to help him rank on Amazon as well as get more reviews for his product, which is kind of the goal for everyone selling on Amazon.
Yeah.
And that's what really catapulted things for me in my business is I ran a successful campaign for him. He told a couple of people within the Amazon space. The Amazon space is pretty tight knit. So when something big happens for someone, other people tend to find out pretty quickly. And within 2 months, that happened in August. I worked with him in August. And at the end of October was when I had my first 10K month.
Oh man, you see, that's awesome. 90 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And it just takes that traction, that first point of traction or momentum really just hits everything into second gear. And from there, you just got to ride that momentum and make sure that you can fulfill everything that comes to you.
See, we say that all the time in different programs that I have out there, which you're actually in one of them. We'll just do a little cheap plug here, but Agency in a Box. Jayden is actually going to be servicing a good majority of those deals in there come starting actually this week. So, but anyway, the way that works is, guys, it only takes one.
Yeah.
That's it.
100%.
That's why I love it. So that's proof right there. Okay. So kind of walk us through, like, what are the biggest struggles when you were starting your agency? Because you built it in 90 days. It took one, but you already mentioned mindset. Like, what are the other biggest struggles that you dealt with and how'd you overcome those?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is mindset for sure. Honestly, I think so much of running a business and honestly just day-to-day life is mindset versus execution. Like there's so much and part of this is like I'm fresh out of Tony Robbins, so that's like also in my head. But like one of the things he talked about is how important your state is. Like your state dictates your level of energy, how much you're able to work, how you feel about your work. It dictates so much, right? So I think one of the biggest things that I was feeling, especially when I started my agency, is I had a couple of trials that didn't work out too well. I was feeling maybe I'm not too good at this. Maybe this isn't right for me. So it was negative, right? I was talking to myself negative. And as a result, it was almost like I didn't believe that I could run the ads or I wasn't worthy of running those ads and getting results. And the biggest thing that changed for me was just like when I met Tom, who's the Amazon guy, when I met him and ran that campaign for him, it shifted my mindset. It told me, okay, I can do this. I'm great at this. Like I felt amazing after. I was like, yes, I'm the best, which is huge for your mindset because honestly, whatever you believe is what you're going to like kind of create in your environment. If you're telling yourself that I'm not good enough, I can't make this happen, then you're right. Like you're not going to be able to make this happen. But if you're saying to yourself, no matter what, I'm going to make this happen. I see a way that this can work. Then you're going to create that for yourself. So I think your mindset is so important, and the way that you talk to yourself is so important as well. And the biggest thing is just like believing. If you don't have that belief that you can do it, you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you just came back from the Tony Robbins thing. That actually, dude, that I would love to go to one of those. Do you suggest that more people go to those events and read books, or like what would you suggest that would help accelerate people's growth to like having that mindset?
Yeah, I mean, the Tony Robbins event, it was just a 1 day one. It wasn't the Unleash the Power Within or anything like that. But just, yeah, being in an environment that changes the way that you think, whether that's through books, whether that's through events. I think events are really good because it literally puts you in that environment where you're in a room with a whole bunch of different people that are experiencing the same thing. I think events are super, super powerful for that. The other thing that I would say is, yeah, books are great. I'm a big reader. I like reading. I like videos as well. But I think the most powerful thing is the people that you surround yourself with. And that's why I think events can be so powerful for you, because you're in that environment. You're with all the time when you go to an event, you're with like a whole bunch of new people that you don't know. And you're all going through this collective experience. So I think events are really, really powerful in terms of mindset.
Yeah, man. And is it just me, or do you notice that any successful person you talk to all says the same thing, that you become a byproduct of the people you surround yourself with?
Yeah, every single time, man. And it's just so true. Like there's no escaping that. Like you are the byproduct. You are the result of the people you surround yourself with.
Absolutely. So how did you deal with this? Because this is something that the majority of entrepreneurs deal with as they start to like excel in their success. Family members and friends that are negative in your life. Like, how did you handle that? And how do you handle that now?
Yeah. So honestly, I think the biggest thing is like, I like before even getting into this entrepreneur space, I have a really good group of friends and family that although they're not doing the exact same thing, like they're not all entrepreneurs, and most of them aren't entrepreneurs, to be honest. But they're never like, hey, you can't do this, you're not going to succeed in this. I never once heard from a friend of mine, hey, you shouldn't do this, like this isn't for you. It's always been love, it's always been support, and I think that's so important. So that's one part of it, is just making sure in your immediate friends and family you're getting the support that you need. If you're not, you need to really think about what kind of energy and support you want to have in your surroundings. And that might be, and then just to add on to the second part of that is, because none of my friends are entrepreneurs, like, my friends are 20, most of them just have a job or are going to school or whatever. So for me, I had to surround myself with people that were actually doing what I was doing. Even though I had the support that I wanted, I needed to be in the environment of people that were doing exactly what I was doing. And honestly, like that came through Facebook, through networking, through courses. That's where I developed that sort of network where not only did I know these people, but I became friends with these people that were doing what I'm doing, wanting to make the type of impact that I wanted to make. Goals were similar to what my goals were. I think that's super, super important. Whether you foster that in your in-person environment or in your online environment, you have to have people that know what you're going through, that kind of can understand what you're going through, and either relate to you, or just you being able to relate to them and just being able to really communicate with them and express how you're feeling. If you're not doing that, it's really gonna leave you stuck in your head. And when you get stuck in your head, I've got another Tony Robbins thing because I just came from that. But if you get stuck in your head, you're dead. So you can't get stuck in your head. You gotta make sure that you're actually talking to people. You're actually doing things and being in the right environment that will allow you to have success.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like you definitely have to. And we have the internet now, so you can reach out to anybody whenever you want. It's like, I've never met you in person, but we talked over the internet multiple times.
Yeah, which is super cool, right?
Yeah, so I love it. That's definitely the way. I mean, take advantage of that. We just live in a different age. And I know whenever I was 20, I wasn't even thinking that large at all. So I got to know, like, it's different for me now, but I know, like, if I were in your shoes at 20 years old and starting to build this business, like, I didn't have any organization. So what does your daily routine look like? Because we deal with, especially in Agency in a Box, like, right, we deal with a lot of younger agency owners that are becoming very
Yeah.
successful.
Right.
So really, to continue to scale, it's about organization. So how do you do that? Like, what's your routine like?
Yeah, so I think one of the most important things that I did when I was experienced that when I went from one client to 10 clients within 2 months, one of the things that I did is I hired a coach for systems. And she has honestly been pretty transformational for me, just because it's honestly, I'm not an organized person. Like I'm pretty close. Like I don't know if you can see my background. It's a little bit messy back there, but I'm not the most organized person. So that organization in my personal life, disorganization, I should say, kind of bled into my business where I was kind of scrambling a little bit all over the place. And just working with a coach and working with someone else to say, hey, these are things that should be better organized. Like, did you know you could set this up like this and it'll be easier? Do you know you could set things up like that? And it just changed the way I thought about organization. So I think for one, like if organization is something that you're more of a weak point in, I would highly recommend either doing some training yourself, like going through figuring out like a way to organize for your own life, or hire someone directly. Like I think for me, working with a one-to-one coach is really, really big because they understand me. They know what, I'm like, what I want to do, what my goals are, and, what my kind of behaviors are. And we can create systems and organization around that because just your typical organization, like there are so many different ways that you can organize and structure things, right? And it's going to be different for every person. So you really got to figure out what works best for you. But in terms of my daily routine, what that looks like is when I wake up, generally what I'll do is I'll go for a walk for about 20 or 30 minutes. I listen to an audiobook. I just finished reading 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is like absolutely amazing.
So
oh my God. I might read it again, to be honest. It was unreal. So that's generally how I start the morning. I'll get back from that, just start doing some work. I work from home, so it makes everything pretty convenient. So basically do that morning walk, get started with work. I just kind of eat whenever I get hungry, do more work.
Oh, we lost you. Let's see. Oh, there we go.
Okay, cool. It did a weird thing there. Yeah, so I end up getting started for work around 8:30 or so. And then I'll work through till about 4 to 5. Honestly, it really depends. I'm not like I don't have 100% set working schedule, but
yeah.
Most of the time I would say I get like a good like 8 to 9 hours of work in a day, and then evening is more about spending time with family, spending time with friends. I might be reading, watching videos, kind of learning. But that's more like I'm not directly working during that time. I might be like learning or spending time with people I care about.
Right. And when you say you're working all these hours, I mean, I just want to put this into perspective for people watching this, especially if they're just coming on and they're not an entrepreneur and they just want to figure out how someone at 19 years old could make, be in the top 1%, right, of this normal statistic. So when you're working all these hours, I mean, it's not something you hate, and it's definitely not on like someone else's time.
Yeah, and that's huge, right? Because for me, like I've always been the type of person that like I want to do my own things. I want to do what I want to do. That's always been really important to me. So I think just being able to wake up every morning and know that, yeah, I might have specific things that I need to do, but I'm the one that's in charge of that. I think that's huge in my daily motivation, and just like help it, and just like when I'm in a situation where I'm like, I'm not really enjoying this right now, it helps to step back and think of the bigger picture and think about, this is what I chose and this is why I'm doing it. And that pretty much always carries me through. And just to add on as well, like I used to be like a crazy, like wake up, turn on the computer, and then turn off the computer and go to bed, and then do the same thing the next day. Like that used to be like my day to day. But honestly, that's not sustainable. Like I was a lot more unhappy, a lot more stressed out when I was doing that. And honestly, like I wasn't even that much more effective and getting that much more done, just because I'm like, doing that every single day, you get into it's way easier to get kind of stuck in your head. And I feel like you lose a lot of your creative, you lose a lot of your creative output, to be honest, just kind of getting stuck in that routine. So I think something that's super important is making sure that you've got at least some sort of balance in, in work with the rest of your life in a way that makes sense for you, because that's going to be different for everyone as well.
Dude, that is so true. And that falls back again to the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Like if anybody takes anything from this, I hope it's the fact that you can really grow as a person and then be able to really accomplish whatever you want in business. So you've given us a lot of great insight, Jayden. Like, here's what I want to know is all this great insight you've given us. What is the one thing that will literally stop anybody from actually succeeding in this? Because you've already given us a great recipe, but what's the one thing?
Honestly, it's your mind. Your mind is gonna stop you. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but like that's the first thing that comes to mind for me, man. Like if you wake up and your thought process is I can't do this, this doesn't make sense. And I get it, like, everybody has those negative thoughts. Mm-hmm. But if you get stuck in that pattern of I can't do this, this isn't good for me, I'm wasting my time, blah blah blah, all of these things, you're going to see that in your environment, because what you pay attention to is like where you're, like, I guess what you think about is where your focus goes and where your attention goes. So if you're thinking about negative things, you're going to pay attention to more negative things. If you're paying attention to positive things, you're going to pay attention to more positive things as well. So if you wake up and you're saying, hey, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to make this work, and I'm committed to making this work, and I know that I'm capable of making it work, that will change the way that you approach the day versus, I don't know how I'm going to make this work. I feel confused. I feel lost. All of these different things, which are totally normal. But by just shifting the way that you think, you shift the environment that you create for yourself.
Absolutely, man. I love that. I heard a saying once and I never really understood it until I grew into it. And that's what's just so mind blowing, that you're 20 years old doing this and other 20-year-olds are doing this. It's just mind blowing to me because I'm 26, but I feel like that's a pretty big generational gap.
Oh, definitely. I think there is a significant gap there, but it's just crazy that we can have this sort of lifestyle today. This never would have been possible 20, 30 years ago.
Right. What did your friends and your family say when you started like living this do what I want when I want lifestyle, owning your own like internet thing? Right, because they don't know it's an internet thing that most people,
Yeah, I mean, the first thing was definitely skepticism. It was like, wow, are you sure? Like, are you actually making money, or is this one of those, like they're familiar with MLMs and multi-level things and that sort of stuff. So when I was like, oh, I'm making money online, that there was skepticism.
Yeah.
But I like, as time has gone on, like I think there's a genuine understanding of like what I do, like because I'm very open with what I do with my friends and family. I'm not like trying to hide anything or anything. So I like there's a lot of understanding with what I do and how I do it. And now it's just like it's more, I guess I feel like I get respect from my friends and family for because I was able to make this actually work. And not only that, but keep the discipline of being able to work on my own and actually like get work done every single day. So I think that's another big thing.
That's huge, man. Well, I want to open up the floor for some questions. So before we have to jump off here, and so somebody just asked, because I can't actually see the names on this.
Sure.
So before you have testimonials, and I agree with this, when I first started, this one was a tough one for me too. But before you have case studies and testimonials, how did you approach prospects, and what did you say in your messaging to get them to want to book an appointment with you?
Yeah, basically what I did was, when I was getting in, what I did for before I got to 10K is I was offering free trials. I don't think you need to offer free trials. That's honestly up to you and your confidence level. But the biggest thing is, if you're like, so when I got into the Amazon space, that campaign that I ran for the Amazon FBA guy, I ran that first campaign for free. But what that turned into is it turned into 10K a month in recurring revenue. So I will take that for like, I'll take that trade any day. But if you're trying to break into, let's say, the agency space and you haven't run campaigns before, what I would do is either pitch that free trial, just say, hey, we're very confident we can get you these expected results. But I haven't directly worked in this space. What I'd like to do is, run a campaign for free or for a week or whatever. That's totally up to you if you want to do that. I honestly don't think you need to, because these type of skills that you have, even if you haven't had any clients, if you have the skills to run ads, you can definitely charge for your knowledge and your service. And what I would say for that is just focus on the expected results that you can get for them. So kind of what I would do is figure out what other people are doing in that space. So let's say you want to go after dentists, figure out what other people are doing for dentists, what kind of ads they're running, what kind of campaigns they're running. See if you can talk to someone that runs ads for dentists and say, hey, like either what you can do is you can either just talk to them, get some advice, blah blah blah, pay them for consulting, or what you could actually do is you could say, hey, I'm starting to break into this industry as well. Would I be able to pay you for one of your case studies, or one of your kind of one of your results, or one of your testimonials, just because I know I can get the results, but I haven't worked with those type of clients yet. And then that's a way that you can say, hey, this is what kind of results we've seen. You don't have to directly say this is what I've done, but you can just say this is what results we've seen from these type of campaigns. And that way you're still keeping yourself as an expert, but at the same time, you're able to charge right away for your services.
Dude, absolutely. And that comes down to, again, doing your guys' due diligence. If you listen to Jayden that whole time, like, he had the information he needed when he approached a client. He knew what to say, even though he didn't have case studies, so it made him look like the expert. So definitely take notes on that. And somebody else said, are you from India, and is this doable for people from India?
I am not from India. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I was born here. If you're from India, honestly, like if you're trying to land clients in Canada or the US, it's going to be a lot more difficult. First of all, because there's already a pre-connotation of marketers from India for a lot of businesses in North America. So I'd say that's a big barrier to get over. In terms of marketing in India, I don't know a whole lot about that, so I can't really give you much advice there. I would say it's still doable, but you're going to run into a lot more hurdles and roadblocks than the average person in Canada or the US trying to run ads for those businesses. But if you're running ads for businesses in India, I think it'll be a lot easier to break into. I just don't know a lot about that, so I wouldn't be able to help you out there.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. It is going to be a little bit more of a hurdle that way, but it is still doable.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's absolutely still doable. Like the biggest thing is just showing the value that you can provide for them. If they see the value in what you're offering, and you can kind of show to them and I guess prove to them that you're able to do that for their business, then you'll be able to overcome that. But that's the biggest hurdle to overcome.
So I wish I could see who the comments were coming from. That'd be awesome. But yeah. So it says, how much are you charging per average client? Like on average per client, how much are you charging?
Yeah, so what I do is on average, I'll generally charge anywhere from, because I do a lot of white label work, but I do a lot of work directly with clients as well. I've been kind of working on my sales process within my agency. So if I'm working on a white label account, generally that's $750 to $1,000 per account. That's just flat management. But if we're taking on clients for our own agency, we will charge anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 a month, but that includes the ad spend as well.
Awesome. So guys, if you caught what he said, just so you know the difference here. So working directly with a client is Jayden working with the client and no middleman, right? With just him and his team. But white labeling, if you guys aren't familiar with that, so Jayden will partner with agencies that are selling clients on ads, and Jayden will actually run the ads on behalf of the agency.
Yeah.
Okay. So just so you guys know that. So you can actually pay Jayden to run your ads. So this way you don't even have to know ads. So all the questions from before, guys, that you guys are asking, like, how did you do this without case studies, testimonials? My favorite way, and this is how I started out, is I just use somebody else's.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've always been a big outsourcer. I've always believed in that. And now I know Facebook ads and all this and that. But even when it comes to running ads for other people, I'm still all about white labeling.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing as well is if you're someone that is more on the people side of things, you're really good at, talking to people, building those relationships, making sales, and you don't want to learn the whole ad side of things. Like that's the type of people that I generally work with, because it makes it easier for both of us. Like, all you get to worry about what you're best at, I get to worry about what I'm best at, and then it's just a win-win for both sides.
So what do you do with Facebook ads? Do you do like just the ads? Do you do bots? Do you do like what? I mean, do you do the whole nine? Like, talk to us about that.
Yeah, so for your standard lead generation campaign, the way that I set it up is basically just a simple Facebook ad. I do use bots, but it really depends on the client. Most clients, I just use a landing page or just the lead form through Facebook. And basically, the way that's set up is, we run that Facebook ad, generate that contact information. And I'm really big on the lead handling side of things. Like, that's something that I think a lot of agencies tend to drop the ball on. And I think it's something that we can all do a lot better. And basically, that just comes down to tracking and reporting. So basically, what I do is, as soon as that lead comes in, we send our client a push notification right away. That way they know that that lead has come in. They need to follow up with them right away. We actually provide them with text, email, and phone scripts for them to use when they're on the phone with potential clients, so that they, there's no hesitation. They know what to say. We also do automatic tracking spreadsheets. So as soon as the lead comes in, it goes onto a spreadsheet so that they can track, exactly what happens if that person came in for an appointment, if they end up signing up, how much money they spent. That's how the client can exactly see what return on investment they're getting every single month. Because, like, the way that we run our agency is, we want to make sure our clients are making money, more money than they're paying us. Otherwise, like, it doesn't make sense, right? So we got to make sure they're getting a good return on investment. And that spreadsheet is exactly how we do it. And then we do a couple other things. We do call tracking, recording. We send automated text as well. We do some sneaky surveys just to make sure everyone's being followed up with. But really, like, we're heavy on the lead handling side, because honestly, like, for me now, I'm able to go into almost any industry and generate the leads. That's no problem. It's just making sure that when those leads come in, the business knows what to do with those leads, because that's honestly the number one thing that I've run into with clients is, we'll send them a bunch of leads, they won't convert them, and then they won't be happy with us. So we got to train them and help them convert those leads into customers.
Yes. And it's awesome that you just said that, because Toby just asked in the comments right now how you're helping your clients with booking and showing up with the sales process.
Yeah, there it is. Basically the big thing is, get your clients to call those leads right away, 5 to 10 minutes. Like, you don't want to keep it. The later that you call them, the later you wait to call them, the less likely they are to answer. So, like, right there, if you want more people to show up and actually pay that business money, call them within 5 to 10 minutes. That's going to make the number one difference over anything else. So make sure you've got that down. The other thing I'll do is, after that lead comes in, what we do a lot of the time is we send them to an online scheduling page so that they can schedule before we even need to follow up with them. And that actually works quite well. We get I would say around 30 to 40% of people that will go and schedule their appointment right after filling out their info. So that makes it nice and easy. But yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing, is you got to train them on the importance of lead handling. And online scheduling is a pretty easy thing to set up after someone fills out their information.
Awesome. So just to recap, guys, following Jayden on this whole process, that's how he gets his clients to be able to convert the leads better, by training them and making it easy for them by delivering a text message right after they get the lead. So it's like, all you do is click and call that, guys. You just click the text and call them. Like, it doesn't get easier.
Yeah, super, super simple. And the way that I do it is, I use an app called Lead Owl. And basically that makes it super, super easy. The client just downloads the app. They get all the leads within that app. They can track their follow-up. And then I can even see how long it took them to respond to each lead. So I can say, hey, this guy took 2 hours, this guy took 4 hours, what happened there? You know what I mean? Because what will happen a lot of the times is, if you've had clients for a few months, they'll generally come to you with some sort of complaint. It doesn't matter what happens, you could be killing it, there's always some sort of complaint. So that might be, hey, these leads aren't good. Hey, these people, the people aren't showing up. Hey, this is happening. And that's where I've been collecting all of this data since the campaign started. And I can just show them and say, hey, it's taking 2 hours to call leads on average. Like, if we're able to cut that in half, we'll be able to get, this many more people showing up. And then I'll be like, hey, we recorded the calls. There were like 4 people that called in the last 3 weeks, called during business hours. Nobody answered. What happened there? And then I can show them all these different things that I've been collecting data on. And that lets me not only keep those clients, but also make them happier as well. Show them that I actually care about them and their business. Because I think that's something that's really, really big. And honestly, like a lot of agencies are just not doing this at all.
Yep. Exactly, guys. And that just makes me want to fall back on. That's why you should just work with Jayden to white label and just let him run everything, dude. In fact, because we have to get ready to end the call here soon. So where can people find you, Jayden, if they want to either just watch the content you put out or to message you to work with you to do like all their ads for them?
Yeah, I'm super active on Facebook. Actually, I haven't been active as much recently, but I will respond to you right away. So I would say my personal Facebook profile. You can connect with me there. I can find a link for that or post a link for that. I think it's just facebook.com/JJJayden. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/JJJayden. Nice and easy. I do have a Facebook group, but honestly, I haven't been as active in it in the last like month or two. The best way to connect with me is just find my personal profile, send me a message. I'll get back to you like within a few hours.
Awesome. And I'll put that in the link, guys. So this way you can see it in the description of this post. So yeah, before we hop off here, everyone's got to know. So if you could have one superpower,
ooh,
what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. Actually, you know what? The power of knowing probability. I want to know the probability of anything happening. If I had the power of probability, I would take over the world.
Oh man, yeah.
The more you think about it, the better it becomes. It's amazing.
That's actually a good idea. That's like a really like thought out, sophisticated superpower.
Yeah, I just saw it like I think like maybe a couple years ago, and I'm like, yeah, if I ever had a superpower, it'd be that for sure. So there's my answer.
That's awesome, man. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna link his Jayden's info in the description. Go add him on Facebook, and you could probably find his Facebook group on his page, but message him on his Facebook profile. Yeah. And he will get back to you in case you guys need like any ads ran. He'll white label it for you so you could know like nada about ads and still start an agency and scale to 6 figures by having someone else do all the work. Jayden, thank you, dude, for jumping on. This is awesome.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I'll catch you guys on the next live video, and make sure you go add this guy because he could be literally your secret weapon to building a 6-figure agency and you don't even have to know anything. So thanks, man.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.